Hey everybody, another day, another Linux distro, and this time we're going to be having a look at ElementaryOS 6.0. So let's set this up. We're going to choose ElementaryOS Juno, which is the older version, forward. We're going to give this 2 CPUs, 4 gigs of RAM, 15 gigabyte hard drive should be sufficient, and we're going to change the name to ElementaryOS 6. There we go. So we're going to try and install ElementaryOS. And we are greeted with a language selector. So interestingly, I don't see a full OS environment. This is just strictly an installer environment. So let's select English. We're going to select the United States. US keyboard is good. And default. Well, there we go. Okay, so interesting concept. You can actually go into the demo mode, but we are going to erase the disk and install. Let's have a look here at the customized install. Okay, so this is a full custom install. You create your whole partitions and everything yourself. So we're going to select erase disk and install to the available hard drive. Ask you about drive encryption. We are going to omit encryption for now. And there we go, a very simple installer, not really a lot of options. Fairly easy to get up and running. Again, here's your terminal output for people who are interested in looking at this stuff. Okay, so the installer was fairly quick, installed it up, and it'll automatically reboot or restart in 20 seconds, but we will restart it quicker. And it's asking us for language selection again, which is bizarre because we actually selected it before, but I guess it makes sense that that was the language for the installer. This is the actual language for the operating system. So we're going to select English, English US keyboard, and there we go. Perfect. And pretty slick. So we're greeted with the login screen immediately. By the way, it's a really good looking login screen too. And here is ElementaryOS. So first things first is let me change the display settings and up the resolution to 1920 by 1080. Hit apply. And we're going to keep this configuration. Okay, that's much better. So a welcome guide. So we're going to hit next. Okay, awesome. We can change the color scheme right from the get-go. So either default light color or dark. We're going to go with dark because dark mode everything. And what I really like is that you have a pre-selected palette of colors you can choose from, but it also gives you a option to choose your accent color depending on your wallpaper, which could be handy depending on the need. We're going to hit next. Okay, there's an option for night light, so that basically reduces the blue light from your screen depending on time of day. We're going to omit that for now. Housekeeping. So old files can be automatically deleted after 30 days to save space and protect your privacy. Delete old temporary files and trash files. Sure. Online accounts, we're going to omit that right now, but you could connect to online accounts such as mail, calendar, and tasks. And of course, the app stores here. And it also says you can you can sideload Flatpak apps from FlatHub. So go next, and you're ready to go. Let's just get started. So there we go, a very nice and clean desktop environment. Reminiscent of Mac OS quite a lot. It's got the menu up here, so there we go. So here's all your applications. You can scroll, and I don't see a lot of applications installed. It's a very lean system out of the box. You have your calculator, calendar, camera application, edit code files, a document viewer, file manager, mail app, multitasking view, music player, photos app, screenshot, system settings, tasks, terminal. Next page has a video player and a web browser. So let's open up the web browser, have a look. And this is not Firefox. I think this is Elementary's own web browser, or a fork of a different web browser. But again, I really do wish it had Firefox out of the gate. Let's look at the App Center. And it's doing a couple of updates. So Elementary to me is a very interesting Linux operating system. From what I remember in the past, they relied heavily on paid apps, and I don't think this time is any different. So as you can see here, while it's updating, it will take some time, but you won't be able to see much here anyways. These are all the pre-installed apps. But we will give this some time to update properly. In the meantime, while this updates, we can have a look at the system settings. Again, I really like the layout. Everything is all in front of you, and it's a one-pager. There's no scroll bars, so not a lot to set up. Let's have a look. So again, for applications, you can set your defaults, startup applications, permissions by application, which is very nice. You can customize your desktop wallpaper, appearance, dock and panel, and multitasking. Again, this is very similar to Mac OS X, so you can do something like this. If you set the top left corner to multitasking, so there we go. That's your multitasking view right over here. Language and region, self-explanatory. Security and privacy. Again, you can set up your firewall here. Housekeeping is enabled. You can always disable it if you want. Keyboard settings, such as your input method. You can configure your displays from here. And night light 2. Keyboard settings, your mouse and touchpad settings are over here. So again, very nice. You can make your primary button right-handed or left-handed. You can change your pointer size, gestures, and change your mouse pointer speed over here. And for the laptop users out there, here's your touchpad settings. Let's have a look at the power settings. Again, very simple but functional. Printers, of course, no printers are connected right now. Sound settings. Yep, speaker settings work well. And here's your input settings also. And for people who use Wacom tablets, here are the settings right here. Bluetooth network, see here, perfect. So you've got your wired network, VPN, as well as your proxy settings over here. Your online accounts, if you want to add accounts such as a CalDAV or an IMAP account. Can set up your sharing here. So media library. These are for network sharing basically. So you can enable that, share particular folders, your music, videos, and photos folder with the other computers on your network. Date and time, which is actually incorrect, but I guess this is because of the VM. It didn't pick up my location, so we're going to set it to America and Toronto. There we go, and the time is set perfectly. And we can also show in the panel seconds if you want, which I like. Of course, there's screen times and limits, which is good for children using this computer. So you can set up the users and give them screen times and screen limits. You can also look at preventing users visiting certain websites, and of course preventing users accessing or using certain apps that you can add in here. System, again, we can check for updates over here. Here's your hardware settings or your hardware specs, as well as your firmware if your hardware supports it. We can also do this here, check for updates, and this is still cooking, which is taking quite a long time. Go to universal access, yep, couple of accessibility settings over here, and user accounts again over here. So all in all, honestly, very simple, very easy to use. No complaints so far. Let's try updating through the terminal. So terminal, and let's see, sudo apt update. There we go. That's the reason why it was taking forever. It seems that the mirrors are kind of slow. And you can see 130 packages can be upgraded. Quite interesting. Let's try opening up the App Center right now. So let's see if htop is installed. Yes, htop is installed, and yeah, pretty good. 709 megabytes of memory used, and this is despite opening a couple of apps here and there, having the App Center running in the background. So quite light as far as resource use goes. Again, I really like the gear icon over here for the settings. You can set the theme as you wish over here. You can even zoom in or zoom out. And again, natural copy and paste, which is a big thing if you're coming from Windows. You can just Control C, Control V, between different windows, which is very, very nice, especially from an app to a terminal-based application. So since the repositories are slow and giving me problems, we're going to install Synaptic and see if we can get around that issue. So sudo apt install Synaptic. Yes. And we're going to run Synaptic Package Manager. And we're going to go to repositories. Let's have a look here. And through Synaptic, we're going to do the upgrades. So mark them and apply. So this is the upgraded, and this will be installed. So let's apply. So as you can see here, using Synaptic, it uses slightly different mirrors. And there we go. So everything is installing perfectly right now through Synaptic. It's a little bit of a shame. I guess probably it's a new release. Maybe their servers are overloaded. That's why. Okay, so everything has been updated. Let's give the system a quick reboot. Maybe it'll fix the issues. So we go shut down and restart. And let's try the App Center again. Hopefully this time we'll have better luck. There we go. So finally it worked. I don't know why it didn't work the first time around. But after updating it, it worked. And you can see here that there is an update here. So let's update all. And done. So as I was saying before, ElementaryOS is one of those Linux distributions that really does curate their app store, and not everything, but a lot of things are paid. Again, I don't really like the concept, but I do understand where they're coming from. They do curate this, and they select best of the breed type of applications. But as you can see here, um, you know, when you go to the audio section, there's only two. Uh, very, very bizarre. Again, if you go to development, not much, and majority of them are paid options. Let's go to the internet. Again, no proper browsers such as Firefox or Chromium or Brave or anything like that. And that is why I install Synaptic. Because with Synaptic now, I can install Firefox. So let's search for Firefox. And there we go. So you can see the differences here in the internet category. In fact, if I search for Firefox here, there we go, no results, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. I think Elementary OS is a polished distribution. It's really nice, but I would say that these decisions are a little bit questionable. Now, I do understand you can go to FlatHub and install it, so let's try that because that's what they recommend. So FlatHub. And Firefox, and let's try installing it from here. Okay, so there we go. So it seems that the preferred method for installing applications in Elementary OS is through FlatHub. Now, for a new user who doesn't really know anything about snaps, Flatpaks, things like that, this is a little bit disappointing that you have to do it this way. But we'll do it either way. While Firefox is installing, let's see if Brave is available. Brave. No, Brave is not available. Let's look at the popular apps. Okay, VLC's there, fantastic. We have Steam, Visual Studio Code, OBS Studio. Okay, so there's a fairly nice stack of applications over here. And we can open app, let's see. And there we go. We have Firefox. So again, it's a little bit disappointing that a store doesn't show Firefox or integrate with Flatpaks. And I really don't see any settings anywhere for you to enable that integration. So honestly, it's a good OS. I think Elementary is a really nice OS, but yeah, I mean, for an absolute beginner, this would be okay. But if you do know even a little bit about computing, I think this is a little bit too simplistic. My last video was about Zorin OS, and I think Zorin is doing things right. It's got a lot of polish to it, and at the same time, their app store is open to not only Zorin packages, but as well as snaps and Flatpaks. So you have actually a lot of applications to install, or the capability to install a lot of applications, which I think is a good thing, especially for somebody who's switching from, for example, Windows or another operating system. Things like this make it very difficult for them to navigate, and depending on the person, it might leave a bad taste in their mouth. But otherwise, I think Elementary OS is a good looking OS. It's kind of familiar to people who are used to more mainstream operating systems like Mac OS and Windows. The paradigm is not too different, but overall, I think Elementary OS is pretty decent. However, they should have added more software selection in their app store. Again, if you look at finance, not much. It's just looks a little bit sparse, and for somebody who installs this and has never heard of Linux before, and then they see this, they would think that probably Linux doesn't have a lot of applications or can't do a lot. So my advice to the Elementary team would be to integrate Flatpak into the application center, the app center, and this way users will get access to way larger software library. I think it will end up being a much better user experience at the end. Hopefully you like this video. If you like the video, give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.